Welcome again. Today's topic, child custody and relocation. What do I need to think about before considering relocation with my minor child? Okay, interesting topic. Something that's becoming very prevalent these days where people are leaving South Africa and relocating to other countries. The world is becoming smaller. People are relocating for various reasons, some for work. That's the general reason to relocate. Others to go back to their homeland. Let's say, for example, they were born in a foreign country and they now want to return there because their mother is there, their father, their family, and things are better for them there. They studied there, there are job opportunities, and so on. Or they remarried, or they married, they met someone. Alternatively, just for a better life for themselves, they find the country interesting. But that's the way it goes, and people are relocating quite often these days. If you do relocate and you have no kids, you are not married, of course you can relocate on your own, no problems. Make sure your passport and your visa is in order and all your affairs are in order before you leave the country. However, if there is a minor child involved, a child, and you would like to relocate with that specific minor child, obviously there can be certain challenges, consent challenges, where the other parent might not want to give consent for the minor child to relocate. In short, the law requires both guardians to consent for the minor child to leave the Republic of South Africa or be removed from the Republic of South Africa and so on. So that's where our topic focuses on relocation, where there are consent issues at play. If you are the only parent and there is no other parent, or the other parent is completely missing, nowhere to be found, details aren't on the birth certificate, etc., and the Department of Home Affairs obviously they believe that, and of course you can relocate, no problem. There is no other parent. However, if there is other parent, we need to obviously follow certain legal practices and legal principles. So I'm not dealing with the law specifically. I might refer to certain legal principles that is obviously found in our Constitution, child-based interest, the Children's Act, child-based interest, and at the same time, the requirements that both guardians should consent for the minor child to leave the Republic of South Africa, and of course, for the application for a passport as well. Let me repeat it one more time. Child custody and relocation. What do I need to think about before considering relocation with my minor child? Question 1. Relocation with my 14-year-old daughter to the United Kingdom. The father of my 14-year-old daughter has no problem with the relocation to the United Kingdom from South Africa. He, however, does not want to pay any child maintenance should she relocate. Is that possible? My new husband said he will pay for everything. So we're dealing with a scenario here where somebody remarried with somebody, I presume, from the United Kingdom and wants to relocate to the United Kingdom with a minor child who's 14 years old living in South Africa with her. And the father says, I have no problem with you relocating. You can go with a minor child. However, I do not want to pay any child maintenance if the minor child relocates with you. Obviously, that's a bit problematic in the sense of you are the father, you need to look after your child, you need to contribute towards your minor child and pay something. If you pay in South Africa whatever amount it is, let me use a round figure, maybe 2,000 Rand per month, maybe more, maybe less, I do not know, but that's what you're paying. Why not continue paying it if the minor child is living in a different country? It just makes sense. Your child still needs to eat and buy clothing and live. If there is a divorce order in place, this is where the advice comes from. If there is a divorce order in place or a court order dealing with child maintenance, obviously my advice to you is clearly you need to stick to that order, and he has a legal obligation to comply with that order. That just makes logical sense. There's no other way I can explain it. I will not for 1 second advise you to relinquish that order because it is a maintenance order. If, however, there is an agreement in place whereby you and him come to an agreement and say, you know what, you are struggling financially, etc., the child is 14 years old, I'm going to the UK, I marry somebody that can afford to look after the child, I understand the circumstances, and therefore you no longer need to pay child maintenance because you can't afford it, then have such an agreement in writing. Record it, maybe in affidavit format, go to the police station, so that is recorded to protect, safeguard the father and also the mother in the circumstances. And should at any point the father now start working and being able to afford to pay the maintenance, then of course he should continue paying child maintenance. But in this specific scenario, the mother wants the child maintenance and the father says, no, I do not want to pay child maintenance, either minor child relocate. So my advice was, stick to the order, you know, that's obviously what the law is. If the father is saying, you know what, mom, I will not agree to the child relocating unless I do not pay maintenance, and because you are telling me I must continue paying child maintenance, I will not consent for the relocation. If that is the case and those are the facts, then I would advise the mother, then, go to the High Court, obtain a court order to stipulate that you are allowed to relocate. The father previously, of course, consented to it, so there shouldn't be much of a problem. But for the mother to obtain a court order and also at the same time allowing or granting her certain guardianship rights should she relocate to the United Kingdom, because this father is becoming a bit problematic here. It seems to me he does not want to pay maintenance, and he'll block the minor child's best interests for the sake of money. If that is the case, I foresee problems arising in the United Kingdom where the minor child may have to enroll into a school or go to a hospital for whatever reasons, whatever the case may be, and the father might always say, I do not want to give consent, or he might give consent now, but later on he said, I'll only give consent if I then can stop paying child maintenance. So my advice to the mother is, if the father refuses and is not willing to stick to the maintenance agreement of paying maintenance, affordable maintenance, whatever is reasonable and justifiable under the circumstances, approach the High Court, get a court order granting you guardianship rights in the sense of limiting certain of his guardianship rights. We do not want to take all his guardianship rights away, but at the same time, a pragmatical order to be in place. And of course, the court will grant an order authorizing your relocation to the United Kingdom. I hope that assisted you where that is concerned. Let me deal with the next question. Question number 2. Holiday to the United Kingdom turned into a possible permanent stay. How do we legalize it? My son and I visited my parents in London in June last year. He has special needs and all his learning is done online. Due to COVID-19 variants, we had to stay until now. I found a job and want to remain in the United Kingdom with him. The mother has an issue with that. What can I do? Oh, this is a very difficult one, a very sticky one. In the sense of, I would presume the mother gave consent for the minor child to only visit the United Kingdom with the father for a certain holiday period and to visit his parents. The consent was in no way for the father and the minor child to remain there. Of course, due to COVID-19, and we all know South Africa being in the red zone and that country having certain, whatever country it was, certain countries have certain issues with South Africa because of whatever variants they are, or alternatively, if you come from a certain country, whatever the case may be, we all know that story, and it's in the past. The minor child now remained in the United Kingdom longer, but now, however, the borders are now opening some time ago actually, but the minor child can now come back to South Africa. If the mother does not agree to the minor child remaining in the United Kingdom, the father has to bring the minor child back. If he does not do that, the Hague Convention on International Child Abduction kicks in, that long act, and in my view, looking at the facts, the minor child is not in danger. There's nothing that in front of me stipulating why the minor child should not come back to South Africa. I would advise you to bring the minor child back to South Africa as soon as possible, and then have that battle, fight that battle out in South Africa regarding whether or not the minor child should relocate with you or not. But at the same time, that's a legal argument. That's one angle and one possibility. Maybe see an attorney, a lawyer in South Africa or wherever. I would presume a South African lawyer would be best. And ask that attorney to write a letter to the mother, explaining to the mother the pros, the benefits of the relocation. Why the minor child would benefit, I do not know. You can tell me. Would benefit from the relocation. If there aren't any benefits to the minor child, then of course the minor child has to come back as soon as possible and see what the mother has to say. If the mother agrees, wonderful, then maybe a nice order can be drafted, a nice application can be made, and an order be made by the residing officer, allowing certain guardianship rights to the father, maybe stipulating that the relocation is confirmed, whatever the case may be, because the minor child is still a resident in South Africa, although he's not here permanently, he's not here at present, but South Africa is still his home. He still lives here for all intents and purposes. He's on holiday in the United Kingdom, put it that way. So under those circumstances, I would advise you to communicate to the mother, have an attorney do it, an advocate, a trust account advocate, whatever the case may be, communicate with the mother, and hopefully the mother would agree to that. If she does not agree to that, unfortunately you may have to come back to South Africa with a minor child. And the last question, the court order allows for relocation, however the mother does not agree to it. Okay, we have a court order. I have been divorced for 5 years. At the time of the divorce, the mother agreed in the consent paper that I may relocate with our 12-year-old son to the United Kingdom. The mother now refuses. What are my rights? I presume the parties had a consent paper made. In the consent paper is stipulated that the father may relocate to the United Kingdom at any specific time, and 5 years later, could be various reasons why the father did not go. One reason could have been COVID-19 for the last 2 years, I'm guessing. But now 5 years later, the father wants to enforce that right. The court order says he does not require the mother's consent. She consented in terms of a court order. The father can go. He does not require the mother's consent. However, the mother again, if she feels it not in the minor child's best interest, because 5 years has evolved, a lot of things have happened. The child was young that time, and the circumstances then made sense for the minor child to relocate. But now 5 years later, the child is now grounded in South Africa. The child is 12 years old. The child has friends, schooling, education, whatever the case may be. And now the mother feels, that will not be the minor child's best interest. And under those circumstances, I would advise the mother to approach the court and have the order varied. But however, the father has full right to proceed to go to the United Kingdom with a minor child. If there's any problems, he can just show the court order that allowed him to relocate to the minor child without the other party's consent. I hope that answers those questions fully, and if I have not answered those questions completely, please let me know in the comments. I do not see any comments. We'll hopefully start again with our videos on a regular basis. The unfortunate thing is, how the world works. You're busy today and tomorrow you're not as busy. Then the next thing you know, we have a few matters to attend to that takes up so much time, and you do not have time to prepare these videos. But nonetheless, thank you for watching. I hope you share this video, and I hope to see you online again soon. Have a lovely day.